Welcome to my Cambridge to London gravel ride. So the ride starts at Cambridge railway station, which is dead easy to get to from London. You've got trains from King's Cross, St Pancras and Liverpool St, so take your pick. And the ride begins by following a well-trodden bike path that runs alongside the railway line. You can see we stop at a level crossing. So I created this route over a number of years, and it tries to maximise as much as possible gravel sections. So beyond a few kilometres at the beginning, going through some small villages, we then hit that gravel section, that first gravel section, and they come thick and fast from that point on. Over half this route, I don't know the exact percentage, but over half this route is on gravel. The route can be ridden pretty much any time of year. I did this last summer actually, but you could ride it as long as it's not too wet. You will get a bit of mud, but even if it's muddy, if you're prepared to put up with it, you can ride it all year round. I would suggest a minimum of 30mm tyres, and even then that might be a bit bouncy, so maybe something slightly thicker, but definitely you can do it on a gravel bike, and you can certainly do it on a mountain bike. It's really entirely up to you. I would note that particularly towards the beginning, we don't go through many really populated villages, and there's a shortage of both food stops and places to sort of pick up food and drink, so do bring what you can with you. I think this cafe here, which I've never stopped at, and I'm not sure is really the best place to stop, is probably the first place you could stop. This is the A10. It is a bit busy for about the 100 metres that we're on it, so be careful here. But I would suggest hanging on for a few kilometres, because fairly quickly we're into my kind of preferred lunch spot here, which is the Fox and Duck at Thurfield. So Thurfield is about 500 metres actually off our main route, but I've stopped here several times, and in the summer those benches out front are absolutely packed with people having drinks and food, so it's a really lovely sort of village to stop in. And then we get onto a really nice section here just after the pub stop, and you've got a slightly descending section that runs through lovely woods and really hard packed gravel here, so it's really nice riding, and yeah, absolutely love this section. Sometimes the route does pass the edge of fields where it can be a little bit bouncy, shall we say, but it's all pretty rideable, as I say, most of the year round, and the worst you're probably going to find is if it's a little bit overgrown in places. So the Bull is another pub. It's in Cottered. I've never stopped here, but it's another potential food stop, just really depending upon when you leave Cambridge, what sort of time. I tend to always leave around 10ish, I reckon. Okay, now we're on to my favourite section. This is Cottered. There's a Cottered Road, I think, and it might be an old Roman road, but it's fantastic. It runs for a few kilometres. You can see I've sped it up here, and it's just pretty much die straight. It's hard packed. I think it's very slightly downhill as well. You can go fast. It's absolutely beautiful. You're protected from the elements. You can see in the map on the inset just how straight the whole section really is. It's absolutely lovely riding. It's beautiful. Pretty quiet most of this route. You will find the odd car, but I've really tried to find it using sort of bridle paths and byways. I think this counts as a byway technically here, to avoid as many people and particularly other vehicles as possible. But depending on what day you're riding it, obviously be careful about other people using the paths and give way to them, particularly families and horses as well. But then you just get these fantastic bits. I mean, this is just gorgeous when you go through these fields and you can absolutely bomb down them as long as it's safe to do so. So Watnet Stone is useful for a few things. If you need to bail out at any point, this is a great place to do it. There's a railway station about 200 metres just past that junction. They've also got budgeons there, there's a cafe, and there's a couple of pubs as well. So again, another good stop if you need somewhere. Passing over the railway line again, this is a bit of a theme. You'll see we zigzag over that railway line a little bit. And then there's a nice sort of woody section at this point in the ride, and we get some lovely sort of bits going through various woods between Watnet Stone and Hertford. We don't actually go into Hertford, but again, once you get towards that, Hertford North Station is another, and indeed Hertford East Station. There are two stations in Hertford. You can, if you need to end the ride a bit early, they're both good places to stop, and you can get trains back into London from there. Coming up to a place called Wormley Wood, which is a really nice place for mountain biking. We're actually riding uphill through Wormley Wood. The hills are a little bit backloaded in this ride, it's got to be said, and this is probably the last main one we do. But then we go through Goffs Oak. There's another opportunity there. If you head off to the right, you can go to Cuffley, and that's another place you can get a train back to London. But why bother? If you've made it this far, you've got a great big downhill running all the way down this long section. It takes you under the M25 at this point, and now you know you're in London. On the other side, we come out in Cruise Hill, which is famous for its garden centres, and then we're really in the home stretch. There's a final section now of off-road. You can see we're just going under the railway bridge again, and then there's a little bit of a climb up to the Ridgeway. The Ridgeway in this instance is quite a busy road, so be a bit careful. You're only on it for about 500 metres before finally ending up at Gordon Hill Station.
Okay, finishing at Gordon Hill Station, which is handily on the Hertford North Moorgate line, and you can change at Finsbury Park for King's Cross. This artwork behind me is by a guy called Shay. It's quite entertaining. But yeah, so in summary, 4 hours and 15 minutes, 93.4 kilometres. Sure, I think it's less than 1,000 metres of climbing. And the climbing is a little bit backloaded, I'm afraid, so take advantage of that, but it's not sort of terrible. There's no colossal hills, I would say. But yeah, I haven't worked out quite, I'll see before I put this video together, what proportion of the ride is off-road. The majority, I would say, or certainly well over half. And the road riding that is on public roads is mostly on quite small roads. Occasionally you've got to cross a busy road, but it's about the worst of it. So yeah, gravel ride from Cambridge to London.